Gingrich slams New York Times, Washington Post reports as garbage intended to smear Trump. Newt Gingrich thinks the new reports from the New York Times and the Washington Post about the ongoing investigation into possible collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia are garbage. On the story tonight, Gingrich pointed out that neither story cites any sources by name, and he said they're intended purely to smear President Trump. And yet, these are bombshells? No, they're not. They're just more of the left-wing hatred for Trump, Gingrich said. Let's take a listen.
Contributor and author of the book Understanding Trump. Speaker, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Where do I begin? There's so much happening and so much breaking every single night. It seems here we are on a Friday evening. You've got these two bombshell reports. What do you make of them?
They're garbage. The fact that this city is fascinated with garbage is a sad commentary. I'm with General King. Here you have a president going to a historic meeting with over 20 Arab leaders, but the story is no sources, no names in either the New York Times or the Washington Post. None. And yet these are, quote, bombshells. No, they're not. They're just more of the left-wing hatred for Trump. Trump was clear on CBS News. He told Esther Hope he wanted to fire Comey. He thinks Comey was irresponsible. You know, now you have a leak that says, gosh, Trump actually meant what he said on CBS. This stuff is just, all of this is done by the left, and there's a Harvard study out that shows there is more media hostility to Donald Trump than any president in modern American history. Tonight's another example. They could have said, President leaves on a historic trip to bring together the Arab world to fight terrorism. President leaves on a historic trip to go to Israel and meet with both Palestinians and Jewish leaders. President goes on a historic trip to meet the Pope. Oh no. They come up with garbage in order to smear the president as he leaves the country. I think it's disgusting, and I'm really sad that the Washington Post and the New York Times have ceased to be newspapers and try to become left-wing propaganda instruments.
Well, they are driving the conversation, that's for sure. There's those two reports, and there's also, Speaker, the latest on James Comey, that he will now testify in this open hearing sometime after Memorial Day. What do you expect will come from that?
Look, I have a simple question for Comey. If at any point he thought the president was doing something inappropriate, he testified in public and said it wasn't true, I don't think he told his superiors. So what's the deal? Comey clearly didn't think he was pressured. He clearly didn't think it was inappropriate. But now that he's been fired, I mean, how many people that somebody you fire turn around and decide they don't like you? So if Comey had a beef, didn't he have an obligation to tell the Congress? He appeared before Congress. He was asked questions. Has any effort been to stop this? No, there has not been effort. Go back and look at what he said. And whatever he says when he testifies at Memorial Day, I hope people will look at what he said earlier, put them together, and ask yourself, how honest is this guy, and how reliable is this guy?
Considering all of this and everything you just said, Speaker, where does this put everything politically? You just wrote this op-ed saying that Republicans, in particular the Trump administration, are approaching an historic decision that will reshape American generations. What is that decision?
I think they're going to decide to take the news media head on. I think they've got to decide to stand up and fight. I think they have to call this stuff for what it is. And Trump, frankly, of all the Republicans, Trump is the one person who's been the most willing to say that this stuff is baloney and to take it on. But it's not just this stuff. They've got to go back to focusing on jobs. But look at the trip he's on. This is a great moment for America, and they should be emphasizing, get rid of the junk. Let's talk about what we're going to accomplish in the world to try to make it a safer place.
By the way, Speaker, I just wanted to get in there that it was announced tonight, according to a White House official, that President Trump intends to nominate your wife, Callista Gingrich, as ambassador to the Vatican. So we wanted to make sure we get that in there as well. Speaker?
Well, I'm very proud of Callista. It is a great honor, and she'll work her heart out for America.
Okay. All right. Thanks for being here tonight. We'll get that voice better. Thanks, girl.
Wow, that was so on point. So on point. Beautiful. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching.